Former Nigerian president passes away in London hospital. His final wish leaves the world shocked. Breaking news from London. A former Nigerian president has passed away in a foreign hospital, far from the soil he once led. But it's his final wish that's leaving the world, and especially Nigerians, stunned. He spent years in power, flying overseas for treatment, while millions of his citizens struggled within a collapsing health system. And yet, with his final breath, he reportedly made a plea, not for himself, but for Nigeria. No Nigerian, regardless of their status, should ever need to seek medical care abroad. Why now? Why is this wish so different from the life he lived and the policies he failed to implement? In today's video, we dive deep into this powerful, unexpected final message, explore what it means for Nigeria's future, and reveal why many are calling it both heartbreaking and hypocritical. On July 13, 2025, Nigeria and the global community were struck with the news of the passing of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, who died at the age of 82 in a London clinic following a prolonged illness. His death, confirmed by his spokesperson Garba Shehu, and Nigeria's current president Bola Tinubu, has sparked a wave of reactions ranging from grief and tributes to critical reflections on his legacy and the circumstances of his death. However, it is Buhari's reported final wish, revealed by his nephew Mamandara, that has left many in shock and ignited discussions about leadership, healthcare, and national pride in Nigeria. Let's explore Buhari's life, his controversial tenure, the implications of his death abroad, and the surprising details of his final wish. A polarizing legacy. Buhari's presidency was a polarizing chapter in Nigeria's history. Supporters, particularly in the northern regions, admired his personal integrity and disciplined lifestyle, viewing him as a symbol of honesty in a country long plagued by corruption. Alexis Akwagiram, a longtime observer of Nigerian politics, noted that Buhari's personal brand of integrity and honesty resonated with many Nigerians. His administration initiated infrastructure projects, including train lines, roads, dams, and airports, which he claimed laid the foundation for a stronger economy. However, his critics argue that his 8-year tenure left Nigeria in a worse state. Corruption remained rampant. The economy suffered a recession, and insecurity worsened, with Boko Haram's insurgency displacing millions and causing widespread devastation. The 2020 Yoruba Ensar's protests, which demanded an end to police brutality, were met with a brutal crackdown, further alienating the youth who had once supported him. Many Nigerians expressed disillusionment, with some, as reported by Yahoo News, openly stating, "We did not enjoy him. His regime was a total failure." Death in London, a national indictment. Buhari's death in a London hospital, believed to be the London Clinic, has reignited a long-standing debate about Nigeria's healthcare system and the phenomenon of medical tourism among its leaders. Despite ruling Nigeria for over 8 years, Buhari frequently sought medical treatment abroad, a practice that continued even after his presidency. His passing in a foreign hospital, following a prolonged illness, has been described as a national embarrassment by figures like Archbishop Alfred Adewale Martins of Lagos. The Archbishop highlighted that Buhari's death marks the second time in less than 2 decades that a Nigerian president or former president has died abroad, referencing the 2010 death of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua in Saudi Arabia. The fact that Buhari, like many African leaders, sought treatment abroad underscores a deeper systemic failure. In 2015, Nigerians spent $6.3 billion on medical care abroad, a figure that reflects the dire state of the country's healthcare infrastructure. Critics argue that leaders who rely on foreign hospitals while presiding over underfunded domestic systems implicitly undermine national sovereignty and public trust. As one commentator noted, when a sitting president's life depends on the goodwill of foreign governments and private foreign hospitals, the sovereignty and stability of the state itself come under threat. This sentiment was echoed on social media, with one ex-user stating, "Former President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, who left Nigeria's health services in a state of crisis whilst receiving state-of-the-art treatment in a private London clinic, has died." The irony of his death abroad has fueled anger among Nigerians who question why their leaders cannot invest in local healthcare systems to benefit all citizens. The final wish that shocked the world. Perhaps the most surprising revelation came from Buhari's nephew, Mamandara, who was with him in his final hours. According to Dara, Buhari was in high spirits on Saturday, July 12th, 2025, laughing, talking, and making plans to return to Nigeria later that week. He had even arranged to settle hotel bills for supporters who had traveled to London to be with him. However, his condition deteriorated rapidly on Sunday, with breathing difficulties reported around midday, leading to his death at approximately 4:30 p.m. Dara revealed that Buhari's final wish was for Nigeria to unite in addressing its healthcare crisis. In his last moments, Buhari reportedly expressed regret that he had not done more to improve Nigeria's medical infrastructure during his presidency. He urged his family and those close to him to advocate for reforms that would ensure no Nigerian, regardless of status, would need to seek medical care abroad. This wish, described as a call for a healthcare system worthy of Nigeria's greatness, has shocked many due to its contrast with Buhari's own reliance on foreign medical care and the perceived failures of his administration to address this issue. This final wish has sparked mixed reaction. Some see it as a moment of introspection from a leader who recognized his shortcomings, while others view it as a hollow gesture given his track record. On X, posts reflected this divide, with some users expressing sadness and others criticizing the hypocrisy of a leader who benefited from foreign healthcare while ordinary Nigerians struggled. Global and local reaction. Buhari's death prompted condolences from world leaders, including Chinese President Xi Jinping, who praised Buhari's efforts to strengthen Nigeria-China relations, and Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who called him a key figure in Nigerian and African political life. In Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu declared a public holiday on July 15, 2025, and ordered flags to be flown at half-mast. Tinubu, along with Vice President Kashim Shettima and other dignitaries, received Buhari's body at Katsina's airport, and he was laid to rest in Dora after Islamic funeral prayers attended by hundreds. However, public sentiment in Nigeria remains divided. In Kaduna, residents prayed for Buhari's soul, acknowledging his efforts, while others, particularly in southern regions, celebrated his passing, reflecting the deep divisions his leadership caused. The Daily Trust reported open celebration in some areas, highlighting the polarizing nature of his legacy. A call to action. Buhari's death and his final wish have placed Nigeria's healthcare crisis in sharp focus. Archbishop Martins and others have called for urgent reforms, urging the government to treat this moment as a wake-up call. The persistent reliance on foreign hospitals by African leaders, from Gabon's Leon Miba to Ethiopia's Meles Zenawi, underscores a broader continental challenge. As one analyst noted, true sovereignty begins when presidents entrust their health to African hospitals. Buhari's life was one of contrasts, a military strongman turned Democrat, a symbol of integrity who struggled to deliver on promises, and a leader whose final wish for a better Nigeria came too late to define his legacy. His death in London, far from the country he led, serves as both a personal tragedy and a national reckoning, challenging Nigeria to confront its systemic failures and honor his final call for unity and reform. He may have passed away in a foreign land, but his final words echo loudly within Nigeria's borders, a call for a better healthcare system, one that lives up to the potential of a nation rich in talent, pride, and resilience. But let's not forget, for years, he had the power to make that dream a reality, and he didn't. So was his final wish a moment of reflection, a late admission of guilt, or simply a symbolic gesture left to history? Stay informed, stay aware, and until next time, speak the truth, even when it's inconvenient.